You want to take it or do you want me
Please.
to take it? Well, we did not decide to get help. One day his friends came to me and told me all about him, that he was drinking and using, and I had no clue. So he never decided. We kind of sat him down, and I didn't know anything about it at the time, so we did the best we could and kind of said, you come to treatment or else. And he chose treatment, right?
Can we repeat that one more time?
What made us decide to get help? There was really no decision made on either one of our parts. It was kind of a mandatory, necessary thing. His friends came to me one day, this is about 10 years ago, and told me he was drinking and using, and he was in trouble, and they were concerned about him. And so, not knowing what else to do, I sat him down, our family sat him down, and we talked about it and kind of told him, you go to treatment or else. And that's how we decided to get help. What made us decide to seek help? When Tim was just ending high school about 10 years ago, his friends came to me and told me that Tim had an addiction problem with pain pills, God knows what else, a little bit of drinking, but mostly the pills. And they didn't know what to do besides come to me. So when I heard that, it was like my world turned upside down. I didn't know what to do. I'd never seen an addict, seen an alcoholic, didn't know anything about it, but I do know that I would do anything to save my son. So we decided as a family to sit him down and talk with him and kind of give him some options. And we said, you need to get treatment or else. And when I said get treatment, I didn't even know where. I didn't even know anything about any treatment facilities at that time. Why did we seek help in the first place? About 10 years ago, Tim's friends came to me. I think he had just graduated high school, and they told me that Tim had an addiction problem. Tim was using opiates. I later learned it was Vicodin, Oxy, Norco, whatever he could get his hands on, and there's, I'm sure, many more. Didn't know what to do. I mean, my world crumbled. He was my son, and I'd never heard of addicts, never heard of alcoholics. I didn't know what to do, where to turn. But I knew I would do anything to save Tim, my son. So our family got together, we sat him down, and we gave him options. We just said, you need to move back home, you need to go to treatment, and that's it. And at that time, I didn't even know what treatment was, or where to go, or where to look. But I knew we had to do something. I had to do anything to save my son. I actually chose Thelma because when I did an internet search, they popped up, and I knew they were associated with Torrance Memorial. And I looked into them, I read their website. It seemed like they had a solid program, solid counselors, solid staff. So I didn't know anything about it again, so I set up a consult for Tim, and I was able to get in the same day. The same day I called, we got him in, and it started from there.
So what do I remember most about Thelma? My knee-jerk reaction is the counselors. Gosh, I remember the counselor that did my intake. He ended up being my primary, my gender group leader. I remember my family group leader. I remember when I graduated. Gosh, just making sure to thank them. That's what I remember most about them. Was just the counselors. And I don't know whether or not that's a good enough answer, but it just, I can imagine I need to be more specific. But I mean, first and foremost, just the knowledge, the wisdom, the insight, and just how much they cared. Just how much they cared. My journey was a far cry from straightforward. There were a lot of twists and turns and high peaks and low valleys, but man, like those counselors, Thelma, like never wavered. What was it about Thelma? For me, it was the counselors. They had so much knowledge, wisdom, and insight, and they just cared so much. Yeah, my journey's been a far cry from straightforward, and just Thelma and those counselors specifically never wavered. What was it about Thelma? For me, it was the counselors. Their knowledge, their wisdom, their insight, and they just cared. They just really cared, and I felt safe. I felt safe. I felt like it's okay. It's okay, and they just. It's like they let me know what I needed to do. I had no idea. They let me know what I needed to do to dig myself out of the deep, dark hole I dug myself.
Since Thelma, so much has changed. When we were sitting there together in family group, something clicked in me and I felt my calling and my purpose. I went back to school. I changed my whole career over to alcohol counseling, drug and alcohol counseling, and now I work at Thelma McMillan. I've never been happier in my life. The people I work with, the patients I get to help, it's just fantastic. And Tim's and my relationship has improved greatly. I now understand him more because of Thelma. I didn't know what to do with him before. You know, he's an addict. I don't know what to do. Now I've learned a lot, and we can deal with each other way, way more effectively. How has our life changed since Thelma? It has changed so much. Tim and I went through anger, we went through tears, we went through laughter, we didn't talk to each other for a while. Now we can share, we can laugh together, we talk to each other. It's never been better than it is today. I didn't know anything about addicts, and I learned all that. I learned my best way to help him, which in the beginning I had no idea. I was making him mad, I was frustrating him, making it worse for him. And I learned the right things to do, and I was doing everything wrong. But now our relationship is so much better. And since then I have changed careers, went back to school, and become a drug and alcohol counselor at Thelma. I'm currently the intake specialist, and I love it. I love it. Tim is also a counselor there, and his office is right next to mine. And we love it there. We love the staff, we love the patients. It's a great place.